Okay, so for my discussion 8, I have a sample size of 200, and we're sampling the population of men aged 25 to 29 in China and in Denmark. So my hypotheses go as follows. My null hypothesis is that 50% will be married, and my alternate hypothesis is less than 50% will be married. Please excuse this nice shape covering up my typo there. So, conditions necessary for this hypothesis testing procedure, the two that I'm really going to focus on are the 10% condition and a random sample. So we know that it's a random sample because it was told to us that was a random sample, and the 10% condition, we know that there are definitely more than that 10%, that 225 to 29-year-old men in China and Denmark is less than 10% of the whole population. So we are good to go. So from here, we plugged in all of this data, and we got a lot of results. So the first things that we got for China: single, 72%, 36%. Married, 126 out of the 200, 63%. Divorced or widowed, 2 out of the 200, 1%. Same thing with marital status. Single, 181%, which is 90%, only that is a big jump up from single. In Denmark, 18 out of the 200, 9%, and 1 out of the 200 for 0.5% in Denmark. So, all of those results are echoed in these bar graphs that we see here. Then, from there, we did, you can excuse all of this because we will get to that in a minute. So, basically, we know, just going in for reference before, even though it's all calculated out for us anyway, that we always go our observed minus our expected squared divided by our expected. So in this case, I would do, our expected would be 100 for 50%, so I would do 72 minus 100 squared divided by 100, and I came up with these numbers. And so, even before I look at the other things that the formulas are providing me, I can tell by looking at these numbers that, you know, these are kind of big, these look kind of off. Who really knows how accurate that's going to be? So, then we can take it over and look at all of our data. And we can look and compare the countries together. So we see that there is a much larger percent of single people in Denmark than in China, and a much larger percentage of married people in China than in Denmark, and it's the same kind of rate for the widowed and divorced. So here we go. We have our expected frequencies, which of course is just cutting everything down the middle for all. And then we have our observed frequencies. So we took our observed and we took our expected and we got the differences. We squared those differences and divided them by our expected to come up with our chi-square statistic of 128.9. From there, we took this number with our degrees of freedom and brought it into our chi. Oh my gosh, I keep saying chi. It is chi, like kite. I apologize in advance. And we can take it into our chi chart and realize that it is a very, 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 very small number. It is all the way down here. So, with that being said, this number is proof to us that we are going to reject our null hypothesis because it is just too not even on the same planet as what we were expecting and all of the other things. So, if we came back to this, I cannot even get this number line to expand all the way out to where the places we would need it to be, to 128, and then shade less than a millionth of a percent. I can't even do that. So, but that's what I would do if I could. So finally, then it took it, and it took these remarks, and it calculated the standardized residuals of our results. And so what these standardized residuals represent is how far off we were from our expected. So for single, we were about 0.5 below in China what we were expecting, and 0.85 above in Denmark what we were expecting. And then the same thing, we were negative, we were 0.6, oh my goodness, 6.36, excuse me, I need to get some sleep, it seems like. Below what we were expecting, and 0.41 below what we were expecting in that. So it's safe to say we reject this null hypothesis because more and less than 50% of people were married. In China, more than 50% of people were married, and in Denmark, less than 50% of people were married. In neither country was 50% of people married. So, thank you for listening.